All right, Siege, your word is graphic nudity. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I think maybe we should start actually watching the movie before we pick it for an episode.
Yeah.
Unless, I mean, yeah, do we just talk about fucking for like an hour? I don't really know what to...
I mean, that's no different than our normal conversations. Hey, hold
True.
on one second. Hey, welcome to Overtalking Podcast with your hosts, Ken and CJ. Say hi, CJ.
But those are off mic, so we don't need to...
Right. But, we can share. This is a show where we talk over TV shows and movies as chosen by our guests. And this week, the boys chose a movie without having watched it yet. And planned everything out, and now we're here. And this is what we're doing, and we're talking about 4 things.
We only have ourselves to blame.
We both wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Me thinking it was a horror movie. It's not.
No.
And CJ just probably because he wanted to see Emma Watson naked, I'm assuming. I don't know.
Emma Stone, but
Emma Stone.
Okay.
Or her too, I guess. I don't know.
I wanted to ask you that actually. Like, what did you know about this before going into it?
I knew very, very little. I knew it was an adaptation of like Frankenstein, and that was pretty much all I knew.
I didn't even know
that. It played on that. Or it played
Okay.
on that, right? Because like reanimating a body, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. I knew Yorgos Lanthimos, who did The Lobster, and I really liked The Lobster. That's the only one I've seen of his. I knew
I haven't even seen that.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, you should watch it. It's weird, which I think is like his style, but
yeah,
I liked it. I knew Emma Stone starred in it and produced it.
I knew that.
I knew Mark Ruffalo was in it, and I knew Rami Youssef was in it, and I think I knew Willem Dafoe was in it, and I knew it was going to be weird, and that's it.
I knew Emma Stone was in it. I knew Willem Dafoe was in it, and I knew it had something to do with Frankenstein. Oh, and I saw a meme comparing this movie to Frankenhooker, which actually is not far off, having seen it now.
I have not heard of that one.
You haven't seen Frankenhooker, CJ?
Can't say that I have.
Oh, man. It's what it sounds like. Someone reanimates a hooker.
Is that a recommend?
Goes and has sex. It's pretty entertaining, actually. I would recommend it. Maybe closer to Halloween. Is that a Frank Henenlotter one?
Yes, it is. Who directed it?
Is that the one who did Basket Case? I think it is. That's the connection. Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, same guy did Basket Case, did Frankenhooker.
Great. Well, I mean, I loved Basket Case, so I'll definitely put this on the list.
Hey, the same year that Frankenhooker came out, Basket Case 2 came out. I think I know what we're doing in October, Siege.
God. What a wild ride that one was. Did they make a third one?
I think they did, yeah.
Jeez.
Basket Case 3, The Progeny. Anyway, look, we're not here to talk about Basket Case. We're here to talk about how naked Emma Stone is in this movie. I had no idea that it was going to be like anything like that.
No.
At all.
Me neither.
I don't know.
And yeah, I feel like I saw maybe 5 seconds of some trailer or something like that. And I was just like, oh, this looks kind of like quirky and weird. And like, I knew that she didn't have empathy or basically like no filter. Like, yeah. She would just say her inhibitions or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But man, I did not know it was going to be like 80% sex scenes.
I mean, with the setup, I mean, I guess that's it. But also, did a dude write this movie? Because, like, well, for sure, right?
It was
like
Yorgos Lanthimos wrote it.
Oh, okay. So, yes. Okay.
But that's where, like, Emma Stone is a producer on this, right? I'm not mistaken with that, right? Yeah, she's a producer on it. So, like, she
was on board. I mean, like, yeah, for sure. And obviously, to great success considering she won the Oscar for Best Actress for this movie.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, this won a bunch of stuff, I think. Won 4 Oscars.
Wow.
And this is getting like rave reviews and stuff like that. This is one of those things, like movies. I think I finished this a few days ago, and over the course of those days, I still don't know what my take is on it. Like, I still don't know how to feel about this movie.
Yeah, I purposely haven't written my letterbox review yet because I also don't know yet how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Because there's parts of it that I think are brilliant and really, really good, like the cinematography,
Yeah, very
right?
cool.
Like they use all sorts of different lenses throughout the film. You got fisheye, you got like pinhole,
Yeah.
things you don't normally see. And it's all brilliant. And it changes between black and white and color.
And shares something in common with our movie last week, The Holdovers. It's in the 1.66 by 1 aspect ratio.
Yes.
Just
yes.
a little,
Which is
little
quickly
sliver.
becoming my favorite aspect ratio. And there's just little slivers of black on each side.
Yeah. Yeah, the set design is like beautiful. The little when they change locations, kind of like basically saying like, okay, act 1 is over. And it's just like a 10-second kind of trippy, I don't know what to describe it, like interlude. Like everything looks amazing. The costumes, the like Willem Dafoe's face is awesome.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, all the settings that they choose too, like the sky in every single place that she's at is incredible. Like what detail they went to make everything look so vibrant. Each place has like its own color palette.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really unique and like visually stunning for sure. Like
yes.
That's 100%.
So they won the Oscar for best achievement in makeup and hairstyling.
Okay.
Yeah, Emma Stone won best performance by an actress in a leading role.
Did costuming win something? I feel like it should have.
Another Oscar was Best Achievement in Production Design. That makes sense. And yeah, they did win the Oscar for Best Achievement in Costume Design.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought all of her dresses were very unique. I don't really know anything about dresses, but I thought they were really cool looking.
Yeah, everything looked beautiful. Yeah, like you said, the clouds were so like puffy. They looked like they just kind of like actual like cotton balls, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even beyond that, I wasn't sure if it was going to go in like some weird sci-fi route because there was like weird like streaks, or it looked like something was up in the sky too that I didn't really know what it was, and it never went further than that. But yeah, just really interesting. And at different parts in the movie, there were like little bits that made it be like, oh, is this Earth? Like, like this obviously isn't a period piece, but like it's like an alternate history kind of thing.
Yeah.
'Cause every place they went to had like extra technology that never existed then and doesn't really now. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels old-timey because everyone is wearing so many like layers in the clothing and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, like I think it is kind of like a false period piece kind of thing.
Yeah. Also, they swore way more than they would have back then. So
yeah, they did say fuck a lot, which I don't think was as common of a word. Yeah, very interesting. I don't even know how to describe it. Right away though, when we were like learning about Emma Stone's character, I felt kind of weird that like, yeah, I don't know, the black and white part of it.
It's well, I'm going to circle back to that. Remind me to circle back to black and white versus color. But yeah, it's real weird, especially at the beginning, because it's effectively a child in a grown woman's body.
Yeah.
And I guess this child is learning about sexuality, and it's very uncomfortable but weird. And I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Yeah. I remember like going back to the only other movie I've seen of the director and writers, The Lobster. I definitely felt weird, but not in this way. It was more kind of like, kind of not creepy, but like just tense, like suspenseful.
Huh, okay.
I don't want to give anything away with that movie because that movie also just like starts to really take a turn. You're like, whoa, this is bizarre. Okay. I might have to go rewatch that or something too.
Oh,
I'm surprised you haven't seen Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Oh, I have seen Killing of a Sacred Deer. Is that the same writer?
Yep.
Okay.
That's also Yorgos Lanthimos.
That is another weird movie.
Yeah.
But good. And that one's closer to horror, I think.
That was the vibe I was getting. IMDb has it as drama, horror, mystery, and the horror part, I was like, this seems a little too scary for me.
I think it would be. Yeah, it's intense. That's definitely a very intense movie.
Yeah.
But that's one I've been thinking about rewatching again recently too. Yeah, this writer must write a lot of very weird but interesting movies.
Yeah,
in every genre it feels like, right? Because isn't The Lobster like kind of a romance?
Yes, it is.
But with like Siri, is that right? Is that what I'm remembering?
No,
Or is
no,
that
no,
something
no.
else?
That's something else.
Okay.
That's the Joaquin Phoenix one. I think you're thinking of.
Ah, yeah, it is.
This is
Her.
Colin
That's what I'm thinking
Farrell.
of. Okay.
The Lobster. It does have so IMDb for The Lobster. It's drama, romance, sci-fi.
Okay.
It is technically a romance.
And what is Poor Things labeled as?
Comedy, drama, romance?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's kind of touching on everything, which is cool.
Oh, he didn't write Poor Things. Okay, he just directed it because the other ones I think he's both. He's the writer and director.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
let's see who
Yeah, so The Lobster,
wrote
he
Poor
wrote and
Things.
directed it. Killing Sacred Deer wrote and directed it. Oh, okay. But actually, while we're on this topic, so this came out last year, 2023. They already have another movie coming out in June.
Who's they?
Yorgos Lanthimos, starring Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, a bunch of other
Whoa.
people. And he
What's it
wrote and
called?
directed this one. It's called Kinds of Kindness. It's a comedy drama, according to IMDb.
Wow, literally the same cast. Even the
Yeah.
girl who plays the second like Frankenstein lady
Oh,
is
yeah.
in it. She's like second build. Wow, weird.
Yeah, so he must. I know, like, I've heard
Ooh,
Emma
Jesse
Stone
Plemons.
talk about working, like, they seem to have a pretty close relationship, Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos. But yeah, I just thought that's like such a quick turnaround to have written another one and directed, and it's already coming out.
So here's the premise. Kinds of Kindness is a triptych fable with segments following a man without choice who tries to take control of his life. A policeman who is alarmed that his wife, who was missing at sea, has returned and seems to be a different person. And a woman who is determined to find a specific someone destined to become a prodigious spiritual leader. Lots of 50 Cent words in that premise, but interesting. Wow, that seems all over the place.
Yeah.
That seems right exactly in line with this movie.
Yeah.
Huh.
So like now he does it has like piqued my interest, so now I am sort of looking forward to seeing what this one will be.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm curious. I'll definitely watch it for sure.
yeah, I randomly got served like an ad for it on Instagram or something like that, and I was like, wait, they already have another one? Like,
Yeah, that's wild.
Not even a year later. It seems
Trying
like
to go back to back with awards or
yeah, maybe.
what? Cool. Okay, so I want to circle back to Black and White's first color.
Yeah.
I didn't note it down, but do you remember when it flipped? And it went back eventually, right? To black and white?
For a little bit, I think. It felt like that was maybe when she is now like an adult, kind of. Like her brain has developed enough.
Maybe. Well, I think that was when I first noticed it was when she like left home, right?
Yeah.
But I think it went back to black and white when she returned home. So I think it's more of like each setting has its own color palette thing again, right? Like maybe just home is black and white.
It was definitely color towards the end of the movie when she's at home.
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, maybe it was just black and white and then full color from there on out.
Yeah, I think so. Which is like,
sense, then.
It's an interesting choice again because it is so vibrant when it changes into being color that it's an interesting choice to say like, no, you're gonna get a tiny sneak peek because the movie opens in its color, but then that scene lasts for like, I don't know, 20 seconds, a minute, something like that, and then it's black and white for like a solid, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes.
Well, so I think that still lines up with like,
yeah,
she's a child, right? She doesn't have experience. She's very sheltered and literally kind of held captive in her new life.
Yeah,
at the babies, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But the first 10 seconds are the mom, effectively, who has seen everything, and so it's all in color, and she's doing something. I don't know how spoilery we want to get here, but also, like, there's not a whole lot of a plot in this movie either.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a ton to spoil, or, like, anything that we would talk about, you'd be like, oh, darn, now that is ruined for me. Like, there's not big reveals, really, until maybe the very end.
But, I guess, yeah. Even then, it's, like, pretty inconsequential.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, a good 2/3 of the movie, though, is, like, even if we were to talk about it, I don't think that would give anything away.
Yeah, because it's just her fully naked and having sex.
Yep, that's a big chunk of it.
I don't know how do we want to go into that at all. I'm not even sure what to say about it.
Yeah.
Other than that.
So how about instead we get to play 6 Degrees of Fast and Furious? Let's do that instead.
That sounds great.
So Ken, I let you know that I have thought of one. Do you have one?
I genuinely spent time thinking about it without looking online and could not come up with one. I'm bad at these, man.
Interesting.
I'm bad at thinking like multiple steps ahead. So here was my thought process. I was thinking,
Okay.
I can't think of anything with Emma Stone.
Yeah.
Leading to either Vin Diesel or Paul Walker or Ludacris, I guess. I'm trying to remember who else was in these movies. Oh, The Rock. Oh, hold on.
Light bulb.
Okay. So then I pivoted to Mark Ruffalo.
Yes.
Okay. So that's where I was thinking like, okay, he's in all these Marvel movies, right?
Yep.
There has to be something that he's been in a movie with.
There you go.
Who, okay. Oh, I'm so close. I'm right there.
This is where my train of thought was. Keep going.
Okay.
Mark Ruffalo is the key.
Oh, got it. I have it.
Yep.
Okay. It's a couple steps, but Mark Ruffalo is in, let's say, like one of the later Avengers movies with, oh man, I don't know her name unfortunately, but she plays the alien robot blue girl.
Karen Gillian.
Yes, Karen Gillian, and she was in the new Jumanji movie with The Rock, who was in Fast and Furious.
Interesting. Well done. So that's what is that, like 2 degrees, 3 degrees?
3 or 4, yeah.
Okay. Well done, especially for coming up with that on the spot. So mine is kind of where you were originally heading, but only, I think, 1 degree, which is Mark Ruffalo plays the Hulk in Avengers Endgame with Groot, who is voiced by Vin Diesel.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's fair.
Done.
Nice.
Yeah. I think, Marvel's going to be a good spot for a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Have you been watching, do you watch the What If Marvel cartoons at all?
I watched the first season. I haven't seen the second season yet. Same with Loki.
Ooh, okay. Loki's really good.
I know it's important to watch probably season 2 before Deadpool comes out. At least from the trailer, it looks like that takes place in the TVA or whatever it's called.
Oh, I have not watched the trailer at all. That's very interesting and awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm so excited for Deadpool.
Yeah, dang. I would say, Loki, I think, is like one of the best Marvel shows or movies. Because, it's very fun. I would say What If is pretty fun too, in that, like, one, they're just quick little 20-something minute shorts, essentially.
Right.
I think I'm like midway through the second season. I did like the first season, how there was that like overarching thing.
I liked that a lot.
Yeah, Ultron was after Uatu the Watcher kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of waiting and hoping something like that will happen in the second season.
Let me know, because if it's all just various stories that don't tie back to anything, that's going to be disappointing for me.
Yeah. They're still fun though. It feels more like they're having fun with it, not trying to like.
Yeah.
It's a good license to go out and do whatever you want, because it's.
Yeah, you get to touch on a bunch of the characters that don't really fit in with the main like Avengers storyline effectively. Like Captain Britain is something fun that kind of pops up in other places. That was cool to see her in season 1. And
Ken, speaking of that, how are you enjoying? I got you into the X-Men comics finally.
Man, we are way off base here, but also like
that's fine.
I'm not sure where else to go with poor things. I am thoroughly enjoying it. So for listeners, CJ is deep into the X-Men comics, and he loaned me one book that was basically the start of the quote unquote current like era of X-Men that actually I think just ended recently.
I can speak to that, but I'll let you keep going.
Okay. But yeah, so I read that on my honeymoon, and now I realize that my library has access to pretty much every Marvel comic ever for free. So I've just been reading those on my iPad and literally following every single X-Men comic.
Yes.
I looked up online a like chronological order to put all of the comics in for it to kind of make sense and fit together. Someone took a lot of time to put this together. But yeah, I just have a list and I pull it up and I'm like, okay, which one do I read next? Okay, cool. And so I'm in the middle of like 8 or 9 different comic series right now,
Yes.
which is wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really interesting, really fun. I'm learning a lot about X-Men that I didn't know anything about. Like Cable is Cyclops' son
Yes.
from the future or past, or I don't even understand. But now he's young again too.
20 minutes later.
It's so wild what the heck has happened in Marvel in like 80 years or however long it's been around. But
Yeah.
my God.
So the book you read is the House of X / Power of X.
Powers of X, yes.
So now I'm at the point, because I'm basically always a couple months behind because they wait to put it on the Marvel app. And now they're basically circling back to it's now like the fall of the House of X and the rise of the Power of X. So they're kind of like coming back to that.
That's cool.
Like double comic kind of thing. But yeah, Emily will always ask me like, "Oh, what are you reading?" when she sees me on my iPad, and I'm like, "It's one of the 12 X-Men series." that I'm like, yeah, I'm always reading like 8 series at a time kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because then
That's
too,
cool.
they'll come out with like little like, okay, we're gonna do just a 5-issue offshoot kind of. But
Much later.
I'm hoping that by the time I get to wherever you are, someone will have pieced together the correct timeline of all of the comics.
they're all pretty. I wouldn't say you have to really go out of your way to make sure you're reading them in order. They're all pretty in order already.
Having read through a lot of the early stuff now, it's not necessary. Someone went out of their way to check like, oh, okay, this character is off-world in this other comic, so this must have taken place before the other one because he's in that one and he's on Earth. So,
got it.
But like, it doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't really. It's not like they're going to reference something in that other comic in this one because it's all different writers probably.
Yeah.
As long as you're roughly in line with like the main X-Men series, it doesn't seem to matter.
I'm so excited that you're getting into this. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think it's some of the best comic. Like I think X-Men for sure is my favorite. Like the stories are really interesting and cool and such world building.
It's definitely keeping my interest just because there's so many different things going on.
Yeah.
And especially the way I'm reading it, like I'm hopping around to a bunch of different places, and the way at least it's organized is like I'll finish a main chunk of story if it all like takes place next to each other. So it's still very rewarding, and yeah, I'm just learning a lot of different stuff that I didn't know about in X-Men, which is really, really cool. Which, by the way, you started watching the 90s animated series, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm still on season 3, I want to say.
Did you finish Spider-Man? Because you were watching that too.
No, I pivoted. Yeah.
Okay.
I got through a couple seasons of Spider-Man and then was like, no, wait, I should be watching X-Men so that I'm ready when the Disney Plus show comes out, which is now out.
I started watching X-Men, and then you told me that you were watching Spider-Man. And then I looked up a chronological series ordering of both of them because they cross over. And that's what I'm watching in the mornings while I eat breakfast now.
Nice. I am sort of like speed watching them because they are a 90s cartoon. They're only like 20 minutes long, and then I will put them on at like 1.5 speed just to kind of like get through. Because at this point, I'm like, yeah, okay. I just want to make sure I know where the 97 one is going to pick back up. But yeah, it's like they're fine. I wouldn't say it's like amazing television.
No, it's not, and that's why it's like it's while I'm checking my phone and eating breakfast.
Yeah.
Like it's something you just put on in the background, and it's like, all right, it's fine. But
yeah,
you mentioned this to me last weekend, but like having read a bunch of the X-Men comics, and you've read a lot more than me now too. We're now watching the original 90s X-Men cartoon. It adds like so much more backstory that like I didn't have any of that context when I started reading the X-Men comics, like of who different people are, like how they were introduced, and that's cool for at least to kind of learn that much.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. Like right in the second season or something like that, you're already learning about the Shire Empire or however.
Many unbearable hours later.
But yeah, no, it's cool. We're real geeks over here.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think the Powers and House of X, like them building out their own nation, like that needs to be a movie. That is so cool and interesting.
It's really interesting. I also really liked, and this is something that hasn't at least been duplicated in the main series that I'm reading, but in House of X and Powers of X, they like jump around between like a bunch of different timelines.
Yeah.
And they kind of leave you guessing about what each timeline is in relation to the others until like the very end, or it's like slowly revealed what each one is. But I want them to go back to that.
See, this is where, now I feel like I should go back and watch the movies because I don't remember like anything from the movies. Anyway, so Poor Things, I guess.
Let's see. Was Emma Stone in X-Men anywhere? Was she Mystique?
No, that's Jennifer Lawrence.
No, that's the other one. Yeah, I get them confused. I don't know why.
I did pull my favorite part from Poor Things. I will do this. How about that?
Is this okay to talk about on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just to be clear.
Can get your mind out of that gutter. All right. See if you can guess which part of the movie this is from. Ready?
Okay. Pop. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, what the fuck?
I laughed so hard. I was like, okay, you've got me back. I like this.
Oh my god, that was like right out of the gate too.
Yeah. And he does it once
Okay, so
more.
for those who don't know, Willem Dafoe's character has all sorts of weird things wrong with his body. And anytime he eats, he does that, which is like a weird long burp kind of, but like a big bubble, flies out of his mouth, floats in the air for a second, and then bursts. Yeah, that's just normal. That's just normal. That's just what he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so fucking weird. I don't know.
Emma Stone's character claps at first. She like is excited by it. I was like, yay. And then he does it later in the movie with Rami Youssef, and Rami just sits there silently and like watches it. I was like, it's very funny, but then yeah, can you imagine that floating over the dinner table and then popping and all of
so
that?
gross.
Yeah, it just goes
I'm sure
everywhere.
it smells awful too.
Yeah, it is
Oh
it's like a see-through bubble, but there is some like brown to it.
Yeah,
coloring.
it's kind of got that weird like
oil
look that like gasoline has when it's like laying in water.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. But
yeah, totally. The weird colorization of it and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, he's hooked up to all sorts of tubes and machines and stuff. And yeah, it was just like, what a choice to be like, all right, this guy needs to burp a bubble to like digest. I guess, okay. What was your favorite part? Was it also that?
Well, I guess the first thing that comes to mind is actually, I guess later in the movie, but when Mark Ruffalo's character is being very possessive over Emma Stone.
Yeah.
And she wants to go dance, and they have this weird but like really decent dance routine that kind of comes from him trying to control her and her being totally free-spirited on this dance floor. And I thought that was really cool to see that. So that's the first thing that comes to mind for me, at least.
It's a fun sequence.
Oh, and the funniest moment that comes to mind is later in the movie, not a spoiler, but a spoiler. Emma Stone has sex with a lot of people in this movie, and at one point literally becomes a prostitute. And she's telling that to her soon-to-be husband, or her fiance, I guess. And she says, yes, I would charge them 30 francs. And he says, well, that seems kind of low, but okay. I don't know. It was a one-off kind of jokey thing, but I remember laughing pretty hard at it.
Yeah. It's Rami Youssef is very sweet. He's a sweet guy. He just is trying to look out for her, and yeah.
He looks familiar. What else has he been in?
He's had his own show, and he's made I knew him at first from being a stand-up comedian, but I think he had his own show that's just called like Rami. Yeah.
Was he on Taskmaster? No, right? No.
I don't think so.
Oh, he's American. Never mind.
Yeah.
Huh. He was in Poor Things. He's not been in many movies yet.
No, I think he's mainly a like comedian.
He directed an episode of The Bear.
That's right.
Weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anyway, I don't know what else to talk about with this movie.
Yeah, I guess like I feel like the only way it's gonna force me is if we just jump to ratings, and then I'll be forced to think of what I actually make of this movie.
Then it's time for ratings.
You've heard us debating. We know you've been waiting. So now it's time to hear our ratings.
All All right, CJ. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Poor Things for you?
I like literally made my decision an hour ago, maybe. Been thinking about it all week. Emily kept asking me, like, so how, she didn't watch it with me. She was like, so how was it? I was like, I honestly don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I didn't like dislike it. It's just weird. And I don't know. I don't think I'll watch it again. It's not the like good kind of weird, but it's not bad. But
No.
yeah, okay. Here it goes. For me, I think just a 6.5. Just a 6.5.
Okay.
Just like it was fine. It's really long, and I started to feel that at a certain point. It is just kind of her.
It's very long. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, I think.
Yeah, it's a pretty length. Yeah.
Did you watch it in one sitting?
No, but I came so close. I went with the intention of, I was like, I made time for it. I was like, okay, I know it's good. It's over 2 hours. I've made that time window. But then I got to, I think, 20 or 15 minutes left, and it was getting late. And I was like, all right,
It's better than me.
I got to go to bed. I can't keep watching this.
I think we got to like 40 or 30 minutes left, and we're like, I'm too tired. It's too long.
Yeah,
I can't.
Exactly. All right, how about you, Ken?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be the hand-holding club. I think 6.5 sounds fair. And yeah, I agree. I mean, it's above a 5 for me, which means I would rewatch it, but also I probably won't ever again.
Yeah.
Not for any like particular reason. It's just, it's too long. It's not something interesting enough for me to want to go back to it for 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's obviously a very like great film, piece of cinema. It is really good and deserves all the awards that it got. But that's the problem, is that most of the movies I want to go back and rewatch aren't Oscar award-winning movies.
Right. Yeah.
Like Killers of the Flower Moon. Watch that. Probably also, I think that one's over 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Really great movie, but never going to watch it again.
Yeah.
Probably because it's so fucking long. I think it's probably just the like that, honestly.
Yeah.
If this was maybe a 20-minute short with all of those famous people in it, sure, why not? But yeah, no, not for 2 hours, 20 minutes for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I really wanted to like it. It seemed, from the little I knew, but like it seemed up my alley. I was like, yeah, this seems weird and cool and visually stunning, and it's got people I like in it. But yeah, I don't know. I just walked away from it being like, I just feel weird after watching that. Like, I don't know.
Well, that's the other problem too, is like, I don't know how to even say this. Like, Emma Stone is such a big actress, and to see her so naked was very uncomfortable. I don't know why. I don't know.
It's a big chunk of the movie is just sex scenes, and I call me a prude or something, but I don't need to watch that many of that in a movie.
Yeah. I will say, I think Mark Ruffalo was the best I've ever seen him in terms of acting.
He was a lot of fun, yeah.
Like, I mean, I mainly, I guess, know him from being Bruce Banner, who was a very stilted character. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I thought he was fabulous in this movie. He was very funny and had a wide variety of emotions that he portrayed very well. So
yeah,
I think he was great.
He was nominated but did not win.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like Oscar winning, great reviews, both high audience and critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, great, this seems cool, and then walked away being like, I'm missing something. I don't understand. I don't get it.
It ended kind of abruptly too. I remember that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is the end of the movie. Okay. I guess it is. And it's fine.
The ending was, I was at least back to being kind of humorous the way they ended it. I don't know if I want to spoil it, but like, yeah, at least the last like 5 minutes, I was like, oh, that's a fun choice.
All right. I will spoil it because I thought it was going to go in a different direction. Like, they have the power to transplant brains. Mm-hmm. Why didn't they transplant Willem Dafoe's brain after he dies at the end into the guy who was dying, and they already transplanted his brain out anyway? Why didn't they just do that?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
You're right. That would have been maybe a way to save him.
Because then it would be like her father in two senses.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know. There's some poetry there, but anyway, there's made him a goose. That's it.
I thought a goat. It was a goat.
A goat? Oh, it was a goat. That's
Yeah.
right. He was bleeding. I think that's what goats do.
What?
It's called bleeding, I believe. Bleating.
Oh, bleating.
When they blah.
Oh, when they like talk,
I think that's what it's called. Bleat.
I've never heard of that before.
The weak, wavering cry of a sheep, goat, or calf is bleating.
Huh.
Now you know, CJ.
Yeah.
I'm teaching you something every day.
Don't say this show isn't educational. Hope you all enjoyed learning so much about the X-Men.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not sure how much of that you're going to keep in, but if anyone stayed past that, God bless you. That's it. And as we always say at the end of every single episode, bye.
This episode of the Overtalking Podcast was produced by Ken and CJ, edited by CJ. This week was just the boys. Music by Justin Peters, logo by Nate Richards. Check out Nate's work on Instagram at Nate Richards Designs.